Welcome back. If you haven't watched the first video titled The Big Myth About Money, go watch that video first because I set you up for success in becoming a money magnet. That video is important because I share with you the biggest myth about money and wealth that, frankly, most people get wrong. Now, in this audio, we will tackle the most important thing we must conquer first. This is what holds most people back and most often, and they don't even know that it's happening. By the end of this audio, you will understand the biggest reason that you are struggling with money or simply can't break through to your next financial level. Simply put, your money beliefs are holding you back. But do you know why? And do you know how to change it? We talked about this briefly already, but now we will deep dive into how your money beliefs are holding you back so that you can break through. We don't want to think that we have bad money beliefs. But if you're not earning as much money as you want, or if you don't have as much savings and financial security that you should have, then that's a real world representation of your limiting money beliefs and your limited money habit. That said, part of it is that most people don't believe that they can be wealthy. This is why most people struggle with money. It's the mindset about money. I see it all the time. I hear it in conversations. I see it on social media posts. I read it in magazines and on blogs, and I see it in people's actions. Many people have already given up on having any sort of financial stability. And many have already certainly given up on the idea of being rich altogether. Their negative money beliefs show up in phrases like, "I'll never be rich, so why try? More money, more problems." These phrases, and many more like them, are a manifestation of a person's money mindset and their money vibration. It's like an X-ray machine looking into the subconscious of your money mindset. Negative money phrases and negative money words means negative thoughts and negative beliefs about money. That's the software program running your life. And that is what's keeping you struggling with money. The subconscious vibrations you have about money. Negative money programming also shows up in your actions. People will do things that sabotage their chances of wealth, like buying things that are unneeded because they are spending carelessly or they're spending to fill an emotional void. There are millions of people who buy a $1,200 cell phone or spend $100 on a night out, but they have a negative bank account. To help you understand your mindset about money, complete this sentence. Money is. Go ahead, answer the question. Money is. If you want, you could even write this down in the comment section below this audio. I'm curious to see what you think, and I'll give you a second to think about it. If you said things like, money is evil, money is stressful, money is a big problem, then you see money as a negative. You see money as a burden. But let me ask you, what is a bigger burden? Having a full bank account or an overdrawn bank account? What is a bigger problem? Managing your finances for financial freedom or scraping by paycheck to paycheck? Money is not a burden, but the lack of money is a huge burden. A lack of money causes problems in your relationship. The stress will keep you awake at night, and literally, it can make you sick. A lack of money is the main cause of stress, which leads to divorce and unhappiness. This is in part because you can't live the life the way you desire, because you're always stressed about money or not having enough money and not being able to do the things you want to do. When money is limited, you can't go on beautiful vacations or take care of your family in the way that you want to. When you lack money, you can't buy your kids the things that they need or give them the experiences that would enrich their lives. You can't own the toys that you would love to own or have the time and freedom to do the things that you really want to do. Again, answer this question. Money is. If you answer this question with money's not important, then ask yourself, is money really not that important, or is that my justification for where I am financially? This used to be an excuse I would use all the time. Don't get me wrong, love, happiness, family, friends, they're all super important. But money is also important to fully live and fully express yourself. Maybe being a millionaire is not important to you. That's not everybody's goal. But money is very important to pay the mortgage, put food on the table, and to live comfortably now and in retirement when you stop working. There's a 2010 study published by the National Academy of Sciences Journal by Nobel Prize winners Daniel Kahneman and Angus Deaton that is often cited. It claims that the relationship between happiness and income plateaus once you hit $75,000 US dollars, meaning that more money doesn't make a person more happy or fulfilled. I always found this to be a ridiculous statement. I always felt this gave people a false justification for not earning more money. If I'm not going to be happier, then why bother making more money? But that study that happiness plateaus at $75,000 is severely misunderstood. Frankly, $75,000 a year is a small amount of money after taxes are taken out. But if you were doing the same amount of work and you got a raise that doubled your salary, I guarantee you'd be just a little bit happier. In fact, you'd probably be a whole lot happier. You can't convince me that $150,000 a year isn't going to put you in a better situation than $75,000. Which means what? Less stress and more options. And what does that mean? That will absolutely correlate to more happiness. Luckily, new research is now telling us a very different story. A new study in 2021 from the same journal now shows that happiness increases as your income increases. Every wealthy person in my social circles are giddy with happiness and fulfillment. My friends that have limited income, they're happy, but they're not as happy, and they're not as fulfilled, and they're certainly more stressed. And there's always frustration and stress over money. It makes total sense that more money is correlated with more happiness. To be specific, I don't think that more money means more happiness, but I do believe it eliminates the things that block happiness, such as stress and struggles. Let me repeat that. I don't think that more money means more happiness, but I do believe that more money eliminates the things that blocks happiness, such as stress and struggles. So less stress, less struggles, more money and easier life means more happiness, which that also increases your opportunities and your options, which allows for the expansion of your happiness, which allows for more expression of who you are, who you want to be, and the kinds of things you want to do, and the lifestyle that you want to have. So the old phrase saying that money can't buy happiness, well, I think it actually does, to a big extent. Back to the question. If you answered the question money is, with, it's selfish to want a lot of money, then listen to me very closely, because someone has messed up your money beliefs bad. I was raised to think this way too. I was raised by a church pastor, and my grandfather was a reverend, and their money beliefs equated to poverty means you're more spiritual. So what are the chances that if a lot of money means you're less spiritual, what are the chances that you're going to be very wealthy? That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a psychological, emotion, subconscious problem for you to be wealthy. Not even like super wealthy, but even modestly wealthy. The belief that a lot of money means you're selfish is easily debunked. Movies portray selfish as a man like Gordon Gekko in the movie Wall Street Never Sleeps. He yells out emphatically, "Greed is good." I agree, a selfish man like this is not the example you probably want to model. But you're not like him, right? You're a good person, and money allows you to do more good by supporting your family, giving back to the church, giving back to the community and causes that you want to support. Money, even a lot of money, even lots and lots of money, doesn't make you selfish. Your character and your behavior determines if you're a selfish or if you're a generous person. What our parents should have been teaching us is that good people with good character like you, like me, should make lots of money, because good people make a big difference in the world. My experience with my friends and wealthy people in general is that rich people are very, very generous people. Wealthy people donate to great causes, build libraries, support the arts, fund scholarships, and so much more. The reason that we think that most wealthy people are selfish is because of the way they are portrayed in the movies and the media. Sure, there are some wealthy, snobby jerks, but most wealthy people are fantastically generous, not only with their money, but also with their time and their knowledge. Listen, I've lived and worked in the wealthiest parts of America, in Connecticut, right outside of New York City. And I've met some rich, arrogant idiots, but I've also met many more broke, arrogant idiots too. Money's not the problem. It's the person's bad character. That's the problem. But don't let a few bad examples taint your money mindset so that you're stuck struggling with money. Money allows you to be generous and selfless because you can make the world a better place by building schools in developing countries, being a sponsor of a women's abuse center, supporting veterans, or anything else that you see a need for in this world. Again, answer the question. Money is. I'm repeating the question so that we peel back the layers of bad money programming. Maybe you answer the question by saying, money's very hard to come by. For many people, that's true, but that's because their mindset and habits with money make it very hard to come by. But that doesn't mean it has to be that way. You can change your money mindset and your money habits and your money vibrations so that money comes to you easily. I know many people that make $100,000 or $200,000 or even $1 million a month. That's not their business revenue. That's their after-tax money that goes into their pocket. Or more likely, give them a really nice lifestyle and add to their investment accounts. Some of them are still in their 20s, and some didn't make their fortune until their 50s, 60s, or 70s. I also know people who have a modest lifestyle, and they're making about $150,000 a year, a comfortable but modest income, but they have an incredible lifestyle, working very little, taking beautiful vacations, supporting their community, and they're wildly happy. I also know people who are comfortably living on $60,000 a year. They have a beautiful life and they're still saving and building up their financial freedom. Some are traveling the world full-time on just $60,000 a year. It's less about how much you make and it's more about how amazing your life is and your lifestyle, and also how you're setting yourself up for financial success and security in the future. In other words, that your net worth is always growing so that you're always becoming more financially secure and wealthy. Have you ever thought this? Because I know I used to think this, that working hard is how you make more money. So I used to work 80 hours a week for more than 15 years. Then I started to realize that all my hard work, all it was getting me was more hard work. I did well financially, but at what cost? In my 20s and my 30s, I was burning out several times, ending up on the couch sleeping for days, literally, because my body would shut down from the exhaustion of working 20-hour days. I knew I needed to make a change. And that's when my business model and my mindset started to evolve. It started to change. And I continue to evolve and change my business, my mind, and my life even more so that I work less, but my life's always getting better. How much you earn is only correlated to how much you work when you're working for an hourly pay. In other words, trading dollars for hours. But becoming wealthy is not just getting rich. It's creating a better lifestyle, a more secure future. And that's done by making money when you're not working. Imagine earning income when you're sleeping, you're playing, you're taking a vacation, you're hanging out with your kids, or you're traveling the world. Money is wildly abundant in the world. And it's always expanding. Money's very easy to come by when you are aligned to making money and attracting money. Money's only hard to come by when you believe it's hard to come by, or you have habits that make it hard to come by. In other words, limiting how money comes into your life. For example, a low-wage earner who stays a low-wage earner and doesn't look for other opportunities or other ways for money to come into their life will always struggle for money. Money will always be hard to come into their life. However, even a modest income, like a janitor, can become a millionaire over the long term if he's smart and he's aligned with becoming wealthy, aligned becoming a millionaire. You don't need a huge salary to be wealthy. It might take you more time on a smaller salary, but you can still become a millionaire and be wealthy. We'll talk about that in other audios. Now, let me ask you a different question. For your benefit, actually answer the question, because that's how your mindset will change when you participate in this process. If you only listen, you'll only get minimal results. But when you participate, that's when you'll get some real change. If you want, you could also answer this in the comment section below or write it in your journal. So here's the question. Money means to me, fill in the blank. Money means to me. If you're being honest and frank with yourself, what does money mean to you? I'm going to give you a moment to think about that. Money means to me. Okay, let's continue. If you said things like money means work, it's difficult, it's a burden, it's stressful, or anything related to avoidance, then you have some money mindset programming to do so that it's not difficult, a burden, and stressful. But if you said things like money means to me freedom, comfort, happiness, or peace of mind, then your mindset is already starting to calibrate towards financial wealth. So here's another question for you. How do you feel when you think about money? Generally speaking, how do you feel when you think about money? Do you avoid having to deal with money? Does it make you stressed, frustrated, or anxious? Does it make you feel uncomfortable or even irritable? Most people avoid money discussions, decisions, and money management. It's not because they're not smart. It's not because they cannot do it. But it is because they are modeling or reacting to a program that they experienced early in their life, even as young as a child. When my client Charlie was growing up, there was a lot of money problems in the house. His dad would come up with these crazy ideas to become rich, and both his mom and his dad spent a lot of money that they didn't have. And so what would happen? Of course, they'd have screaming fights about money. So what does that usually do to a child? That would create stress and anxiety. And that's exactly what happened to Charlie. He avoided dealing with money as an adult in every way that he could. He spent similar to his parents, and he always got deeper and deeper into debt. He was better than his parents, but he was still living out his parents' programming. Charlie was heading towards a bankruptcy very fast if he didn't change things. But luckily he realized that, and he knew that he needed to start changing things, so he started with the things he could easily change. He started small. He had a house full of all kinds of stuff that he didn't need or didn't necessarily want, so he sold a lot of those things that were just clutter and unnecessary in his life anymore. As he was getting rid of these things, he realized that most of those things that he didn't need, he bought on impulse. He bought to fill an emotional void. The next thing he did is he used half the money that he got from selling things, and he used half of that to pay down the debt. And then he used the other half to start a wealth and freedom account. It's not a retirement account, it's a financial freedom account. If you do the right things, your retirement funds will take care of themselves. Charlie started investing some money in an S&P index fund. It's a super simple thing, and it's a fantastic start. Plus, he set up automatic deposits into his wealth and freedom account. It wasn't much at first, just $100 a month, but it was a start. And that was a really big deal for him because it was the changing of tides. Instead of always going out, this was the first time in his life that money was coming in and building wealth. If you're wondering how you can follow a simple plan to build your wealth, you can get my step-by-step plan to creating wealth through mindset and methods for financial freedom in my full program, Money Vibration Code. There's a link on this page with a discount for you to upgrade to the full program. Charlie did some other things to reduce the flow of money going out, unnecessarily and unproductive expenses, and he increased the flow of money coming in. He transformed his financial life so that he stopped going deeper and deeper into debt. This started increasing his net worth every month. Not by a lot at first, but he was consistent, and that's what matters most. Over time, he became a true success story. He now has over $50,000 in his wealth and freedom account. He has no debt other than his mortgage, and he's investing 30% of his money from his take-home income so that he's always increasing his wealth. And his lifestyle hasn't sacrificed at all. He simply cut out the waste so the money wasn't wasting down the drain, and he diverted that into his wealth and freedom account. We've covered a lot of things already, and this is setting the foundation for what we're going to talk about next. This is the most important thing when it comes to wealth. And I'm sure you remember that money is emotional. If you receive a big tax refund you don't expect, you get thrilled. If you get a really big tax bill you didn't expect, you get a little angry, upset. This is proof that money is emotional, and these emotions determine if you're wealthy or broke. But there's a big problem, and it's a really big problem. Most people don't believe that they deserve wealth, and they don't believe that they can have wealth. It may be a strong belief or a moderate belief, but this single idea keeps millions and millions of people struggling with money. If you do not have the money and wealth that you want, there's a resistance in your self-worth about money. This doesn't mean you don't have self-worth, but you likely have a strong resistance in your self-worth related to money. Just the other day, I was talking with a woman who is a psychologist and a coach, a life coach on anagrams. She loves her job. She truly does. When she talks about it, she lights up. She gets so excited and emotional. She's brilliant, but she's barely making enough money to live a very modest life. So I asked her, "Are you a good psychologist?" She said, "Yes." "Are you a really good psychologist?" She confidently said, "Yes," again. Then I asked her, "Do you have breakthrough results for your clients?" She confidently said, "Yes," again. Then I asked her, "Then why isn't your calendar filled with clients?" She said, "Because I'm uncomfortable marketing myself. We don't do that in this industry." So I asked her, "Do you remind your existing clients to share your name with their friends?" And she put her head down and she said no. And then I asked her, "Why not? Why don't you ask for referrals when you get breakthrough results for your clients and your clients love you?" And she quietly responded, "I don't know. I can't do that." Then I asked her why she doesn't charge more money for a session, because this is what's normal for a psychologist to charge. So I asked her, "Says who?" And she responded, "That's what I see other psychologists charging." So I followed up with her. I said, "Do some psychologists charge more?" And she said, "Yes, of course, a few." "So most charge a similar price, but a few charge more. What's the difference in their services?" And she said, "They're excellent, but they offer a similar service." So then I said, "There's one big difference between those who charge a lot of money and everyone else who is charging the same low rate. The difference is the confidence to ask for it. And I'm willing to bet that a part of their success is because they charge more. People perceive them as more valuable, and I'm sure that their clients feel that they're getting better results with them." This is a common story with people not charging enough for their services. And this used to be my story too. Professionals who are afraid to market themselves and charge what they're worth. One day I was playing with my daughter when she was just 5 years old. She was running around the house and she tripped right in front of me. She fell on her face and she broke her tooth in half. This was a tooth she was not likely to lose for 3 or 4 more years. Even though it was a baby tooth, she was likely to keep that for a longer period of time. And I didn't want to look at her with a missing tooth for that long, and I didn't want her to potentially be teased for it. So I did what any parent would do. I called some dentists for a solution, and they all said, "We'll just pull the tooth. It's just a baby tooth. It doesn't matter. It'll be fine." Then I left a message for Dr. Scott on a Saturday night after hours, and he called me back within 15 minutes. I told him what happened, and he said, "If it didn't damage the bone, I can fix it. I can save the tooth." 9 a.m. Monday morning, we were in his office. Without hesitation, he said, "I can fix this, and it will last until her adult teeth come in." Everything about Dr. Scott was total confidence. I never asked him how much. I didn't negotiate. Why would I? I trusted him because he trusted himself. My kids still have him as a dentist 10 years later. He definitely charges a lot more than other dentists, but I have never considered going anywhere else. Why can Dr. Scott charge 50% more than other dentists? Is he any better? Maybe a little bit, but truthfully, there's probably not a lot of difference between what he does and what other dentists do. The difference is he knows that he's very good, he knows his worth, so he charges more. And it's not just the dental work, but the level of confidence and professionalism that lets him charge more. If you want a regular appointment with him, you have to book it months in advance. He's always booked, solid, always. Most people don't have enough self-confidence about their value. Most people don't ask for a raise. Most people will not leave their job if they feel they're underpaid. Most people will not charge more than their competitors. This is why there's a huge gap between the wealthy and those who are struggling to get by. Most people do not value themselves enough to create their own wealth. How much you make is not the biggest factor in your long-term wealth. Money, mindset, and habits make the biggest difference. Most people have little or no savings. Why is that? It's not because of how much money they make, but it is the factor of how they value themselves to do what needs to be done to be wealthy and to be financially free. If you value yourself, you will find a way to save money and invest so that your future is secure and safe. There are millions of everyday millionaires. What does that mean? People who have everyday jobs with modest incomes live in a way that allows them to save and invest so that their wealth and freedom account is always growing. Even a small amount invested every month can grow into enormous amounts of money over time. Let's be clear, this is not a judgment about you. The biggest challenge we face as humans is our own self-worth and our own self-confidence, especially when it comes to money. This is why this is the first module of this program, because this is what moves the needle most to create true change and wealth in your life. You may be wondering how this shows up in your life related to money, so let me share with you a few examples. Procrastination. You know you should be doing important things that will truly make a difference in your life, and yet you don't. You simply ignore it, or you do other non-critical things instead. For example, you know that if you automate your bills, there is no risk in missing a bill, but you keep putting it off because it's a hassle and it's not all that critical. Then one month you miss a bill by accident and you get hit with late fees and higher interest rates that will literally cost you thousands of dollars over the course of several years, and maybe even hurt your credit. Why? Because you said, I'll get to it soon. But you never did you? Distraction. Procrastination and distraction are similar, but distraction is when you choose to do one thing over another. Maybe you watch a Netflix series instead of starting a side hustle to earn extra money. A lack of money self-worth shows up by not having important conversations with your spouse, your kids, your accountant, or your investment broker. It shows up as not managing your money, not budgeting, not setting up and managing your investment accounts. It shows up by not reducing expenses and spending more than you make, or spending frivolously. Let's be clear. I'm all for you enjoying your life and spending any amount of money you want. I will not advise you to live a pauper or a peasant or a minimalist lifestyle. But if you're not where you want to be financially, some things need to change in your mindset, and that will change your habits. Changing your habits will change the result you get. You will keep getting what you've always got if you keep doing what you've always done. If you want different results in your life, you need to do different things. I can tell you so many rags to riches stories with people of every age of life. Teens on YouTube making millions, baby boomers making their fortune late in life, sometimes after they retire. The reality is that it doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter where you are. The only thing that matters is where you go from here, right now, this moment. Before we wrap up this part, I have something important to share with you that will make a huge change in your life. If you were to be honest and frank with yourself, how would you rate your life in terms of your financial success in this moment? Do you have a wealth and freedom account or a retirement account that is well funded? Do you manage your money regularly? Do you have more than one source of income? This is not to be critical or judgmental of yourself. You already know how well or how bad you are doing financially. I bring this to your attention because if you do not ask yourself these questions, and if you are not honest with yourself, then nothing else will change. You will keep struggling with the same problems and the same money trouble. Imagine how good it'll feel when you start building your wealth, when your wealth and freedom account is growing and your bills are getting smaller, when you have multiple sources of income, and when your income is more than your lifestyle expenses so that you can live the life you truly want, and your wealth is always getting more secure and always growing. The reality is that this is not as hard as it seems, especially when you change your money mindset and your money vibration. That's what we will do in the rest of this program. Before we end this video, I want to remind you about the full Money Vibration Code program if you have not already upgraded. The full course walks you step by step to create a wealth and freedom plan so that you can start building your wealth no matter where you're starting right now. Click on the link on this page to learn more and keep reprogramming your mind to be a money magnet. I'll see you in the next audio.